On a hidden arboreal world, somewhere within the Determinate, a rogue Tsan experiments with chrono-phasic technologies. Such powerful technologies have been responsible for horrible calamity on the Antares Nexus, and it does not take long for other factions to detect their work. The first two to arrive on the scene are the forces of the Algoryn Prosperate, as well as elements of the Guild of the Underfallen. When each arrived in orbit, an epic space battle ensued, in which members of both armed forces were scattered across the surface. To their horror, they find themselves crash-landed on a harsh planet full of the beasts of Viridi. Now both rush to regain a footing and find their lost companions. Who will prevail in this place of danger? Find out in this episode of the Tabletop Warlords.
What's up, everybody? I'm Kevin.
And I'm Sergey.
And we are the Tabletop Warlords. And once again, we find ourselves playing a game of
Beyond the Gates of Antares.
In this episode, we will start in our first fight in a 3-part campaign designed by none other than Sergey himself.
Ha! That's right, it's going to be a 3-part campaign very heavily inspired by the monster scenarios that Kevin has been producing over the last couple weeks. And it's actually going to steal the name of Kevin's last Viper scenario because I liked it and I couldn't think of another one. So this one is called Crash Landed on a Harsh Planet.
Woo-woo! I'll allow it. As long as it's a sweet idea, it'll be totally cool. But before we get into how the first scenario and the campaign in general is going to work and show you the armies we have prepared today, you should absolutely help us in the fight with the algorithm by liking this video, subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so already, and enabling notifications so you can see when new content hits on the Tabletop Warlords.
If you want to support the channel even further, we do have an affiliate link right beneath this video and a link to Spring where you can buy TTW swag, which Kevin happens to be wearing.
But if you want to support this channel in the best way pan-humanly possible, you should absolutely consider joining our Patreon community, where any level of pledge gains you access to our development vlogs.
This scenario, like we said, is going to be a 3-parter, and it's kind of based off of an Escalation League or games like Dawn of War Soulstorm, where you're starting off with a very basic force and then replacing those units with more elite forces that you find along the way. In each scenario, you're going to be gathering these units to build up to a final battle where you'll have actually a pretty cool tricked-out army. In addition, each scenario is going to field a neutral element, which the players are going to have to contend with. As far as victory goes, each scenario is going to yield a certain amount of victory points, and these victory points will be cumulative going into the final battle. This first scenario focuses in on a couple of elite soldiers that have been forced into hiding in a forest because of a monster that lurks beneath their feet. In order to find their lost companions, units will have to search forested pieces of area terrain. When this happens, you will roll a d10 in order to search the forest. On a 1 or a 2, a unit will be present. On any other roll, there will be no unit present, but it will become more likely that you'll find a unit the next time you search. When you do find a unit, it will be a random unit. It could be your opponent's lost unit or your own. If you find your own unit, you will add another order dice to the bag, and that unit will be under your control for the rest of the match. If you find an opponent's unit, a melee will immediately ensue, counting neither unit as having charged. All in all, it's a very brutal, chaotic fight. But as far as victory points go, you get 1 point for finding each one of your elite units, and you get 1 point for each one of those elite units that you get off the field. In addition, you only get to bring those elite units into future matches if you get them off the field. If they're left on the field, they're considered eaten by the Leviathan.
Now, as far as the de facto star of the show is concerned, the giant worm, the Viridian Leviathan, is going to work in the exact same way in the last scenario that we featured it in, with just a few tweaks. It starts in the center of the field once again, counting as the little worm or a tentacle marker that Sergey's been referring to as the Verm Hat. It will still be attracted to any unit that finishes any kind of movement, be it an advance or a run order. And it will once again move 5 inches plus a random d10 inches. When it comes within 3 inches of its intended target, it will erupt from the ground, causing a pin to the defending unit. Then the defending unit once again gets a single round of point-blank shooting. The worm has res 10. If it suffers any hits, it cancels the attack and does its consolidation move of 5 inches in a random direction. If it is not repelled in this way, a single round of combat is played out in which the worm has 6 attacks at strength 10, strike value 2, that compound as if they were grenades. After this fight, no matter the result, the worm then consolidates 5 inches in a random direction. Now, as far as how the worm is going to interact with the battlefield, it is once again going to be denied the ability to attack units within certain areas. But on our channel, Sergey and I are always pushing to be more true to the best B monster movie ever made, Tremors.
You're pushing. That's a new thing.
And in that light, we are going to have the worm not be able to attack units that are on elevated rocky ground. It'll still be able to move through. We're not going to have it push through terrain and teleport like we did in the last time, because that felt weird, but it won't be able to attack you if you're on the elevated zones. Now, you'll notice that Sergey made sure that the scenario-specific area terrain features are on ground level. The major difference in how the worm is going to work comes into play when it's interacting with units that it did not target as part of its movements towards units that have moved. Whenever a unit is within 3 inches of that worm marker and wasn't its direct target, they have to perform an initiative test to see if they can stand still long enough for the beast not to detect where they are. If it passes that initiative test, the Leviathan will continue its move towards the unit that aggroed it, or just not attack it if it's in the sense of it standing in one spot. But if you fail that roll, the Leviathan bursts from the ground and the attack is played out on that unit. And quickly to take a closer look at the setup of the battlefield, like Sergey said earlier, the forest area terrains are the objectives that need to be searched. And there are 6 of them. They are all light forest, so +2 res, agility test required when you're moving through it, and count as light area terrain when you're shooting through them. And then everything else was scrubland on the edges, as well as a little bit of tall grass, which if you guys remember is +1 to your res, no difficult test to get through, and does not count as light area terrain when you're shooting over it. And that's mirrored on this side as well. And then the last piece is just a single instance of rocky ground, which counts the exact same as the light forest, up on this piece of elevation. And then just as I said in the monster description, these areas of raised rocky ground are open ground. As far as movement is concerned, they block line of sight when it's more than 2 stacked high, and that is the only area in which the worm cannot attack you. It can still move through it for ease of template, but it is somewhere where you're safe.
This is my Boromite search party. As you can see, it's a pretty simple force and it's narratively created, so we didn't worry too much about points values. It is made up of 2 gang fighter squads. Each one of them is upgraded with fractal grenades, and it has a work gang squad, which is upgraded with reflex armor. These are my elite units hiding in the woods. I have a full Locomite squad and a Lavamite squad that has been upgraded with a suspensor platform.
And here we have my Algoryn search party that consists of 3 identical armored infantry squads. Each has an extra X launcher that is free, and they all have grenades. And as for the units that I have hidden in the woods, I have a 4-man hazard squad, as well as just a bare bones normal armored infantry assault squad. Going into turn 1, each side is starting with 3 order dice.
The worm hat. It is a portent of doom.
Whoa!
Dynamic entrance.
Algoryn! Both forces, we forgot to say, are deploying by moving onto the field. So, with that in mind, I will have my first AI squad run and sprint and try to search this forest just to, go right for the objective. First thing I have to determine is my sprint check, which I pass. Then I have to do another test to go into the terrain, which I pass.
All right.
And so then...
Find some Lavamites.
I'm hoping not. So on a 1 or a 2, I find a unit. And on a 2, I find a unit. Now to determine who I've just found, I must roll a d4. On a 1 or a 3, it's Sergey. 1, it's the Lavamites. 3, it's the Locomites. 2 and 4, it's me. 2, it's the assaults. 4, it's the hazards. 2. Yes, it's my normal assault squad.
Ah!
Okay, with that, I have now gained a victory point for finding my poor troops, and I'm gonna add an order dice into the bag in subsequent turns because of my assault squad.
The worm hat writhes in rage and moves a 5 plus d10 inches. Oh, that is 14 inches.
Ooh, getting dangerous close, but I already have a unit that can escape.
Off to a weird start. The Algoryn just got a critical hit victory point there. And they're gonna get to follow it up with the next dice.
Once again, another AI squad is going to run onto the field. Now, I want to divert the worm away from that unit that's just appeared, so I'm gonna go on this side instead, and I'm gonna do the exact same thing. I'm gonna first sprint up to that piece of terrain, which I fail the sprint test this time,
Ha!
and then I have an agility test to move through it, and I pass. So I am literally, once again, just in this forest, which means I may search it. Now I will find a unit on a 4 or lower. Oh, and I got a 5. So I actually do not find anything in this piece of forest terrain. The worm's tentacle twitches. Now that means it's gonna be 5 plus 7, which is 12. Oh God, so it's right here now. Even closer to my forces. Boromite.
I am going to come onto the field from as far away from the worm as possible with my work gang squad. They are going to sprint and hopefully get as close to that unit to deny Kevin that victory point as possible. I do need to do a sprint check, which I passed. That's unusual, and an agility check. Wow.
Okay.
All right.
So now you may search, and you're going to find something on a 6 or lower.
I do.
So you do.
Odds, I find a friendly unit. Evens, I find an opponent. And it's an opponent.
No.
It's the Hazard Squad. Now, this immediately starts a melee combat in which neither of us is considered to be charging. So it's just an even-stevens fight.
For point blank shooting, each of my hazard squad has a plasma carbine, and I'm just gonna do single shots at strike value 2 so I can make him more likely to die.
With my mass compactors, I am at strike value 3, single shot.
Algoryn hitting on 5s. That's 2 hits. The astute viewer would say Sergey sprinted, but since this assault is like a pseudo assault, I am not re-rolling in this in particular situation. So Sergey, 2 saves.
5s. And I'm good, but I take a pin. Boromite's hitting on 5s. Wow. Stark shooting, 9s and 1s.
Sergey has selected to have those be on 2 non-leaders. The hazard is res 10 down to 7s. And I'm good. And I also receive a pin.
Going into close combat, we have both received 1 pin. I am striking with 2 attacks each at strike value 3.
And my hazards will return combat with 2 attacks each as well at strength 5. And I have D-spinners, so I have strike value 2 hits that compound as if they were grenades. Algoryn on 6s. I misspoke because I have hand weapons. All hit but 2.
One of my people must take a combined strike value 4 hit, and I will take that on my leader. Oof, failed. Haha! Rest of my guys saving on 5s. Wow!
Damn you.
Hopefully my luck continues. I'm hitting on 7s. 2 misses.
That means I got 2 strike value 3 hits for each person. I'm saving on 7s. Oh, so my leader's dead. That guy's fine. That guy's fine. And that guy's fine. So the leader dies and I get a pin. Break test on leadership 8. Ooh, so we have one more round of combat.
Kevin loses his leader, and I am now the winner of that last combat, so I'll be hitting on 8s instead of 7s.
In desperation, I lash out. Missing twice.
Saving on 5s. Ooh, I do lose 1 guy. Striking back on strength 8.
Fortunately, I only have 3 people left, saving on 7s. So that first one is fine. Second one has failed. Third one is fine. So I got a 3rd pin and must now test again on 5s or lower. And I'm fine, so the combat is over.
I have lost a guy, and so has Kevin, but this game has very much just become about him rescuing these hazards so he can bring them into future matches. Kevin has escaped up onto this hill, and I have just barely made it out of the forest to pursue.
Now, the worm quakes in the underground.
While that went well for me, the worm is coming at me.
Oh, it's excited.
15 inches.
So it's all up in our business. Boromite.
Now that I have denied Kevin a point, I need to score some of my own, so I will be sprinting on with my gang fighters and searching this forest right here. Sprint check? Fail. Terrain tech? Pass, huh? Alright, I can actually get all the way up in here.
So
now I am searching.
8 or lower.
And I find someone, and it can only be one of my characters, but I do need to roll to see which one it is. It's just a 50-50 now, so a 1 or a 2, it's my Lavamites, 4 or a 3, it is the Locomites, and it is the Locomites. While I do love the Locomites, and I'm happy I got their order dice in the bag, the worm also loves Locomites, tending to be barbecued.
Oh, it loves you, Sergey.
That is very frightening.
Right on the cusp.
Yep.
Algoryn. My hazards are in a really precarious spot. They have 3 pins and they could definitely be shot at, so I have got to get them off the field or they're gonna be killed. So I'm gonna roll so I fail, I lose a pin, and I go down. Algoryn again. What I do now is very difficult to decide because of the worm. I have a unit that can be brought on, but the worm is right here in a beautiful position, so close to Sergey's guys that haven't moved yet. So I want it to stay there. So I am going to kind of punt my dice to the assaults. Only 3 of them can draw direct line of sight to this unit, but that's enough for me to try to put a pin on them. So I'm gonna stay put for this turn and fire rather than move and draw the worm's attention. They are armed with mag repeaters, so I get 2 shots each. It's a fire order, so I'm at 5s to hit. Fortunately, I only hit twice.
Well, he got his pin, but I have res 7 and I'm good. Yes! Oh, that's great for me. It is the Algoryn.
My last unit is going to be advancing on the field in this corner in a twist of events. I'm gonna let him search out his own guys because I'm really trying to save the hazard. So I'm firing everything I got into this unit, and I'm going to actually not use the overhead. I'm gonna use every bit of direct fire. It's gonna be at long range, and the captain's at extreme because of the pistol. Hitting on 4s and 5s. I'm sorry, 4s and 3s. I'm not that. Everything misses except for 1 shot, but it's a lucky, so I'm gonna have it on a regular trooper.
Kevin placed it on a regular guy, and I am fine. However, I do have to take a leadership test because I have 4 pins, which I'm good. The worm hungers. Not very much. The worm is peckish.
7 inches. That's exactly what I wanted to see.
Yep. The last 2 order dice in the bag are for the Boromites. My gangers are going to enter the field as both bait and explorers. They're only moving 10 inches to pull the worm this direction and hopefully search this next turn, but the worm does hunger. And it hungers
9 inches.
9 inches. Which is pretty solid. The worm's final position makes it dangerously close to pretty much this entire side of the field. As my last order, I must start to attempt to get this unit off the field. I will roll a sprint check.
Oh my god, you don't move and you get a pin.
Well, no, that was my sprint check.
Well, you get a pin.
So I get 2 pins, actually. And my agility test.
Oh my god, you get 3 total pins. Holy god.
Turn 1 was remarkably eventful. Both sides have scored 1 victory point. The Boromites because they found their Locomites, and the Algoryn because they found their assault squads. The Boromites have denied the Algoryn a victory point because they found the hazards, but the hazards have 2 pins, meaning they might not get off the field and move into further matches. And the Locomites also managed to give themselves 3 pins, so they might not advance either. We will see.
Going into turn 2, the Algoryn now possess 5 order dice, having found 2 of their lost compatriots, and with the Boromites still not knowing where the Lavamites are, they now have 4 order dice with the Locomites on the field.
Algoryn.
Strategery! I'm going to use my Algoryn AI squad on my far right flank. I'm going to attempt to run and sprint into this piece of terrain, which will then automatically find the Lavamites and hopefully cause the worm to charge into them. So I have a pin. So first I must pass on a 7 or lower. And I do with a 2. Now I must pass an area test and a sprint test to get out of these woods.
Roll a 10, you piece of garbage.
1. I found a way.
Come on.
And then the sprint test is an 8, so I fail the sprint test. I get a pin, so I'm definitely dead. And then the last terrain test to get in there, which is a 7. So it's 2 inches to get my guy out of there, followed by 4 to get him here. And I got plenty, so yeah. Now, for the lava mites.
My beautiful lava mites burst forth from their burrows in which they were hiding, and now go into close combat here. I have lava spit hitting on 7s and a plasma pistol hitting on 5s.
And then all of my guys are just gonna be firing directly. The leader does technically have a pistol, so I'll be hitting on 5s as well, but with strike value 1.
The Algoryn. Woo! That's 4 hits. 1's a lucky, but it doesn't really matter.
Lava mites on 7s, leader on 6s.
Yes!
Oh! Yes! Oh! Okay, so he's killed 2 units. I get to hit back here, and I missed with just the 1 shot.
I am choosing not to take this on a leader, any of them, because I have a pistol with the leader. So all my regular guys, actually, one of these will be an X launcher, and they will save on only 5s. Oof, so I lose 1.
The kicker is I have lost half of my unit in 1 shooting order, so I now have to take a command test, and I'm good.
The 4 remaining Algoryn soldiers all are armed with grenades, and since there's only 2 guys left, I'm gonna choose to use grenades with everybody because they're strike value 1 and compound.
I have a 1 lava mite remaining, hitting 3 times the strike value 2, and I have a electrolash hitting 3 times the strike value 1.
Hitting on 6s. Oof.
I'll take it on my leader, and I'm good. My rebuttal! I missed with just the 1. Scratch that, I missed with this one as well.
So I will take my 2 strike value 1 hits that I have to suffer on my X launchers because they're the only ones with special stuff, but either way, so they're saving on 6s and 5s. Wow, I'm good all across the board.
Tie combat, we're just gonna follow on. Lava mites, hit with everything.
I have a lot of stuff. So my first double strike value 1 is gonna be on the X launcher. He's dead. This one is gonna be 1, 6, 1, 5, dead.
On both?
On both is 5s. So they're fine. So I lost 2 guys in that, but I get to fight back still. And this time I hit twice.
1 on my leader, 1 on my lava mite. Oh,
Yes.
leader fails.
Yes!
Oh no! I have lost my leader, but Kevin has lost 2 dudes. That does mean he has to take a command check now, or run in fear from Fido the solo dog.
My 2 regular guys must save on a 5. 7, they're out.
Yes, Fido the solo dog sprints away. The worm hat. 7. That's pretty brutal. That will get the worm all the way over here. Once again, threatening my side of the field. The worm's been very ping-pongy today.
Boromite next.
I'll be sprinting and charging his 2-man hazard squad here to hopefully take him out. I do need a sprint check, which I pass.
You son of a dude.
Oh, that's so great. Okay, in close combat, I have a, I have fractal grenades.
Well, we're shooting first.
Oh yeah, either way, fractal grenades. Their strike value 3, they compound, but they can only compound up to 3.
My hazard squads are armed with plasma carbines, so I'll be shooting just 1 shot because otherwise I'll only be hitting on 2s. I misspoke. I'm actually going to use rapid fire because the hazards get 3 shots rather than 2, so I'm going to have 6 shots, all hitting on 1s or 2s. So a gamble. And it paid off. I hit once, but unfortunately, Sergey sprinted, so I missed completely.
Fractal grenades on 5s. Oh, well, 2 hits. I'm cool with that.
So each of my hazards are going to take a strike value 3 hit. They save on 7s, and they both pass, but I do get a pin, meaning I have 3 pins to 2 people, and I fail and die. And my hazards have been wiped off the field and will no longer take place in this campaign, unfortunately.
I will consolidate 5 inches. I'm going to go this way around, so if he sprints away, I can hopefully catch him. The worm! Oh, 15
Dang,
inches.
with these 10s this time.
I'm rolling 10s like it's my job. All right, it goes like right over to here.
Oof.
Algoryn. I am choosing to activate my far Algoryn unit, which is going to do a fire order because 2 of the unit can draw line of sight to his single lava bite. Now, I'm at extreme range and shooting through this, so the mag gun is only gonna hit on a 3, but I have a space pineapple.
I, however, have an initiative of 6 down to 4, and I'm going to bring it to bear. I'm gonna knock over this tree and try to run to cover. Come on.
No!
Yeah! My solo rock dog Fido sprints. That's the noise he makes all the way over to here. I do need to take a sprint check.
Which is agility is 4.
No, okay,
So
so
you
he
get a
takes
third
a third pin, so his command is now 2.
I don't think it matters though.
You do, however, have the opportunity to shoot blind fire at me.
Which I will of course do, otherwise I'll have a wasted turn. Aiming directly, and literally the only thing I can roll to hit him is a 1. And I don't. The worm chases after the rock dog. I'm sorry, I'm measuring before I know how far. 10 inches, so it really is just going back and forth.
Yeah, the worm might never show up at this match.
Boromite.
I need to do a recovery order here. They're too important to play it not safe. Oh, I don't know what their command is. Let me
It's
check.
8 for sure.
Yeah, no, they're totally good. And that's all 3 pins gone, which is awesome. Algoryn.
I will be using my assault squad in an attempt to get them the heck off the field. I already lost the hazards. I really can't afford to lose both cool units.
Yeah, that's definitely the way to go.
So my agility is 5. So I'm gonna first do the terrain roll, which is a 5. So I'm good. I'm gonna do the sprint check, which is a 4. So I'm totally fine. So I get to move 15 inches. I am literally 2 inches away from the edge.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna catch you there.
The worm now. Oh, not very far at all.
That's not great. That means it's still pretty close to me.
Only 6 inches. Algoryn again. There's only one Hail Mary way for me to try to kill one of his units, and it's to use my turn to run up onto this. So I'm gonna declare a sprint because I'm not gonna get caught in this terrain, which I have to roll for first. So my agility is 5. I'm actually fine. The sprint check, I'm fine.
Ooh.
So now, basically what this means is that my 2 X launchers, as well as a normal mag gun, are gonna perch themselves up on this rock.
The worm hungers, and it moves plenty enough inches to hit Kevin's unit, but Kevin's unit is on high ground, so the worm cannot surface.
It can only peer at me with its weird tentacle.
I have the last 2 order dice in the bag. The first move is obvious. I'm going to perform a firing order with this unit. I'll get Kevin's unit on high ground, hopefully preventing them from murdering my poor little doggo. Mag guns at extreme range, hitting on 4. I hit just once, and guess what? It's going on an X launcher.
Saving on 6s, and I'm good.
I'm going to attempt to charge with this very ravaged unit into the only unit that can really mess with my lava mites. I do have 4 pins, so it's a 50-50. No. I go down, but I do lose a pin. This unit is the only one down, so 60%. Oh, okay. It has all come down to a couple operative orders. Kevin's units are essentially off of the field, and the worm is essentially out of play for any sort of important event. However, the Boromites might not get off the field because these guys are too thick, and this guy is too terrified, so we'll see how they deal with it.
Going into turn 3, what will most likely shape up to be one of the final turns, the Boromite have 4 with 1 on the field, and the Algoryn have been whittled down to just 3. Turn 3! I really want this dice! Algoryn! My only chance to deny Sergey a unit just like he did me is if they can pull up a fire order and shoot all the way over to that stupid rock dog that survived up until now.
Fido will survive.
Now, I must pass a leadership test of 7 or lower.
Please fail.
Oh, thank God I did. So now, the first 2 shots are the most important, which is both the X launchers. Obviously, I can only aim at the only model. Now, I'm just gonna roll both of them at the same time. I'm only hitting on like 1 or a 2. There's no negatives but range. So 10 is a dud, so you lucky son of a dude. 3 hits and it deviates a D5. So, oh my God, it's gonna go like 4 inches, isn't it? Yeah. So I think I missed you. Well, that's a miss.
Fido is invincible. Kevin has 1 more mag gun left to go. Oh, please miss.
Extreme range puts me at 4s to hit.
Ah, yes.
Algoryn again!
Ah.
So, with that, my assault squad is just given a run order. They are off the field. I secure their use in future battles and get another victory point.
That's now 2 victory points for Kevin.
The worm, of course, chases after them even though they're off the field and moves 9 inches. So 9 plus 5, that means 14. So they're right here.
Boromite. I'll be obviously charging this unit with my gang fighter squad. I'm gonna stay on this side of him, so hopefully the worm doesn't eat me. And I have fractal grenades, which are hitting on 5s, strike value 3.
I will be returning fire in point blank with 4 mag guns and a mag pistol, all hitting on 5s. Algoryn shooting. I hit twice.
Saving on 6s, and I'm good. Hitting back on 5. Hit with 4.
All of the Algoryn save on 3s. I'm sorry, 4s. So 2. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know if this was a X launcher or not. 50-50 odds he's an X launcher. So it was an X launcher and a regular mag gun that died. So I lost 2 individuals. Going into close combat, unfortunately, the Algoryn only have 3 individuals next. The leader does have a mag pistol, but they all have grenades. So I'm just gonna use grenades and have, well, I guess it doesn't really matter. So I have 3 attacks hitting on 6s. The Boromites are still rocking their fractal charges, but now they're hitting on 7s, and if they roll a 10, they'll hit themselves. Oof, I missed with the leader, but I do hit you twice. Strike value 1.
Saving on 6s. Oh, 1 death and a pin. Hitting on 7s.
Oh, it happened! He rolled 2 10s. So those are, we're gonna look up what hazardous hand-to-hand means, and then this was just a miss, so it's 2 hits I'm gonna have to deal with no matter what.
That does mean I hit myself twice. I'll take 1 on the leader.
Oh!
Dead.
Oh!
Dead. Okay, I killed 2 of my own people. Kevin, you need to take your saves now.
Oh my lord, so I still have a leader. My saves are once again 4s as well. So the normal guy is dead, the leader is also dead. Nope, the leader's fine, so I lost 1 more guy.
Unfortunately, I also just realized that they have limit 3, so when I hit Kevin 4 times, that was not accurate, so he needs to re-roll those res saves.
So re-rolling my res, apologies guys. So I still only failed 1, and it's not the X. So I have only lost 1 guy, and it's a regular mag gun.
The Boromites unfortunately have to take a command test because they lost that round.
Oof!
And we lose. The Boromites unfortunately fell hard on their own sword there and killed themselves all off with their hazardous close combat weapons. But they still did some damage to the Algoryn.
Now the worm moves towards the melee.
And it moves very far towards the melee.
It actually just goes right back to its original
Yeah, it'll
position.
just come back and be like, hey guys, I heard there's some sort of shindig going on over here.
Boromite.
I'm going to attempt to rally with Fido, probably by giving him treats or some such. He only has command 5. Oh, he passes,
did it.
but he only removes 2 pins.
Still.
So,
Algoryn. My last unit on the field, all I can really do is, I'm just gonna do a blind fire with my 2 X launchers against his dog. They only hit on 1s. Oh!
you hit my, oh, that sucks.
Yep.
You didn't deserve this, Fido.
So it is a D3 hits, 3, strike value 0 hits.
Saving on 8s. And he's good on the saves. Okay, but he has 2 pins now, and his leadership test is not good. He's dead.
Done.
Damn it, no! I have 2 more order dice, the first of which I'm just gonna try to get the heck out of here. Oh hey, I passed my agility test.
So you're good.
That means that this unit rapid sprints, they're jet bikes now I guess, off the field, scoring me a single victory point. And that has the game ending in an exact tie with 2 victory points to 2 victory points. As far as the ongoing campaign goes, going into the next battle, Kevin will have a unit of assault squad, and I will have a unit of locomites, which is super cool.
Mm-hmm.
And we both have 2 victory points that will add together with whatever we score in the next battle.
I did not expect to kill that last Lavamite. That was a Hail Mary.
Yeah. Well, it was a Hail Mary to even get away.
I think that was the first instance of a blind fire actually hitting ever.
Yeah.
On
It
the
was
channel.
literally like your rabbits when they get spooked. It was just like a locomite, like
Truth. Mechanically, it was fun to see the worm back.
Yes.
It was unfortunate he never
it
attacked.
never showed up.
But it did its job still because it did dictate. I mean, we stayed.
Well,
we avoided the center like a plague.
It warped how we played, and that's what the worm does best. Is it forces you to not make optimal decisions around the fact that the worm is there. I will say that maybe
it was a little too slow. I think
we should increase the speed, because in the last one we kind of had it teleporting underneath terrain pieces, and we didn't like that. But I think the speed was important. So I think maybe next time we play with the worm, we're going to increase it to a D10 plus 10 inches as opposed to a D10 plus 5 inches.
Which makes sense, because then it's basically sprinting and potentially then some.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
that would be cool. As far as the mechanics of the scenario, I mean, it was very similar, like you said, to the last one we just got done playing, and it was fun to have looking for multiple units.
Yeah,
and I liked like the impromptu ambush. That was pretty cool. So overall, fun first scenario for the campaign.
Well, and I think it did. Kevin was talking about earlier. This whole scenario was almost kind of like a setup phase for the rest of the campaign.
Yeah, it was really quick and punchy, which I liked. And it turned out to be substantially more violent, even without the worm.
It was viciously violent, like, and instantly on turn 1, like, there was a lot of death, which I think was really fun.
Yeah.
Now that we have located our specialist units, our ops team has located the commanders of each force, which are currently dueling each other in a Viridian Viper pit.
It was fun to go on a journey into Sergey's imagination.
Sergey's imaginary. Sergey always trying to put Dawn of War Soulstorm on the tabletop.
Oh my god. But if you like this battle as much as we liked filming it for you guys, absolutely like the video and help us in our battle against the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already, and make sure that you have notifications enabled so you can see when new content is produced.
If you want to support the channel even further, go ahead and hit the affiliate link right beneath this video to take you to the Warlord store, and anything you purchase there will give me and Kevin a small commission. But if you want to support us even further, we now have a spring link in the description below. It'll bring you to TTW swag, which is currently covered in rabbit hair.
Yours will be a lot less so, hopefully.
Well,
or more so,
yeah,
hopefully.
Yeah.
But if you want to support us the best way humanly possible and help me put hay in the cage of this little guy right here, join our Patreon community. All of our patrons, no matter the size of pledge, gain access to our video development vlogs, and they're really cool. And we will see you on the tabletop.